Plaintiff Elizabeth Skrypick and her daughter Danielle say they're in court today because the defendant is convinced that Danielle is having an affair with her husband, which couldn't be further from the truth. As a result of her suspicions, Elizabeth claims the defendant vandalized Danielle's home, which Elizabeth owns, so she's suing. Defendant Courtney Crandall insists both Danielle and her husband confirmed that they had sex one time, and then Danielle claimed he impregnated her. Courtney says it's impossible that she vandalized anyone's home because at the time of the crime, she was filing a police report because she believes Danielle slashed her tires.
Start with you.
We are here today because the defendant, Courtney, believed that her husband, Shane, and my daughter, Danielle, were having an affair, which in fact was not true.
How do you know?
Well, I'll tell you how I know is because I own the home she lives in. I come and go frequently. I have 4 grandchildren over there that I help watch while my daughter works full-time. I've seen Shane there. I've known Shane for many, many years. I never really approved of their friendship, but nevertheless, she's an adult.
Why?
He's trouble. He's trouble.
How so?
Wherever he goes, trouble follows.
In what way?
Oh, he's a substance abuser, can't hold a job, in and out of jail.
Okay.
Has kids by a few different girls.
Didn't
not a real
want them
good...
to be platonic friends?
No, I did not. And I've been in and out of the house. I've seen Shane there. Never once.
Yeah, but you haven't been with her 24 hours. So you don't know what she sneaks off and does. Yeah.
Well,
Most
I
people
think her
don't tell their
fiancé...
mother, Mom, I'm having an affair with a married man. They typically don't. In fact, they usually try and hide it.
You're right.
And unless you're with them 24/7, you'll never know.
You could do a lot in 2 minutes.
That's a good point. You can. No, I can't.
You're not.
I can't. You can. All right, ma'am. Was she having an affair with your husband to your knowledge?
Absolutely.
You
She's the
how
one
do
who
you
told
know?
me.
How do
she
you
told
know?
me on the phone.
Oh.
She told me on the phone. And I just want to say...
Give me some background on it.
For somebody that's not sleeping with somebody, why are you going to go and pay $500 to bail them out of jail when their own wife wouldn't? Because he wasn't paying his child support. He needed to be in jail. She went and gave him the $500.
What gave you the initial impression that they were having an affair?
They were supposed to be just friends. And, you know, you hear things, and it's a very small town that they live in. And I would ask and ask and ask and ask, and then finally Danielle admitted it was a one-time thing. It shouldn't have happened. We were just friends, and, you know, it happened. But the reason...
What did your husband say?
My husband said, yes, it happened. I'm very sorry, and I would never do it again. It was like throwing a hot dog down the hallway.
And you say...
And those words came from his mouth.
Go ahead.
You know, as far as I know, I don't know too much about Beth, except for the fact that she is an alcoholic herself, has substance abuse problems. They're both, what I hear, sue happy. Danielle went around after she admitted to me having an affair with my husband, said that she got pregnant by him, wanted to sue me and Shane for having to get an abortion. She wanted the money back.
All right. Ma'am?
First of all, it is a very small town that we live in, and that is nonsense.
What's nonsense? You didn't have an affair?
Any of what she has said. No. First of all, there was no affair, no sexual relationship whatsoever. Second of all, I was never pregnant by her husband, nor did I plan on suing her for an abortion that you can't have when you're not pregnant.
Why do you think people believed that to be the case?
Because I didn't give up on him. Because he has children that I care about, and I thought that if I continued to be his friend, that he could be a better person and he could be a better father. They together have burned every bridge that is available. This has been going on since...
How often would you see him?
Every time he'd get drunk, she'd kick him out and he'd come over.
How often would you see him?
Probably 4 times a week. He'd stay at her house.
No.
How many times a week would you see him?
He would be over probably 2 or 3 times a week.
2 or 3 times a week
Absolutely.
he'd be over.
He gets drunk. She kicks him out of the house. He comes. Like she said, we live in a very small town. His aunts, his cousin, his grandmother,
I heard all
everybody
that.
lives there. So he comes into the town. I am across the street from his cousin's house. When I say that he's at my house 2 or 3 times a week, he's at his cousin's house. He stops over. He left a few things at my house now and again because she doesn't let him in the house.
Things like what?
T-shirts.
Clothes.
Absolutely. Look, I know that sounds terrible, but Okay. She kicks him out and he has no other place to go. Like I said, as a friend,
All he has
thought,
to go to is you.
No.
No, there's others.
Well, you
There are
said
other
he
people.
doesn't have any place to go. When you say
The
that,
town.
what do you mean?
I mean the town that we live in.
Sounds a little fishy to me. I'll just be honest.
I was just trying to be a friend, and you're right, it does sound fishy, and I'm
Okay.
sorry that I put myself in that position, but
All right.
it was platonic.
All right. So what do you want to tell me about the lawsuit, the windows? What are we saying here?
Well, I do have to say one other thing, Your Honor. It's sort of strange that she is accusing her husband of having an affair when in fact she had a boyfriend the whole time who in fact was John Wayne Bobbitt's brother, and this is the kind of company she keeps. So she's not so innocent. And I know my daughter. I know her very well. She is the mother of 4 beautiful children. She's a good person. Sometimes her heart's too big. I asked her, please, wherever he goes, he brings trouble. Don't help him. But Mom, he's got kids. I understand what it's like to have children. I'm trying to help. This girl knows no boundaries.
Why do you think she felt the need to help him so much? Out of
Because
all the people in the town,
because he's a, okay, let me explain. He
he's
is
the
a
only one needing
user.
help in the town.
He's a user.
I know, all that is fine. He's a user, he's this, he's that, and the other. My question was, why do you think your daughter felt the need to help him? Why was she so loyal and committed to helping him?
Because she's a good person.
All right, so does she help everybody
Yes,
like that?
absolutely.
The whole town?
Well, anybody
Give me
that
an
comes-
example. Give me an example.
Anybody that comes
No,
in.
not anybody. Give me a specific example.
Oh, a friend of her husband's out in Colorado. They were in the service. He and his wife were having some problems. He came and stayed at her house. He left clothes at her house. Her husband has been gone back and forth. Her husband was
Give me
there.
Are there any other examples? Because that's not a virtue. It's a pattern.
Well,
It's
she
a
has
pattern of
patterns.
having women's husbands
No pattern
bring
of having
over.
women's husbands.
She's done it twice. And you haven't given me any other examples.
No,
Give me an example.
The man I was explaining about, this in one of an example was a friend of her husband's.
I understand.
Okay, so she's just a
Somebody
kind
else's
person.
husband.
Yeah.
Let's get to the windows.
Well, I'm going to let Danielle explain that.
The weekend of December 30th, she had kicked him out of the house because he was drunk. He had his children. He went over to a woman he calls Aunt Billy. She is a cousin, I believe, of his. She lives around the corner. He was staying there. He showed up at my house Sunday, drunk, with his kids. I didn't want him around the kids drunk, just him and the kids drunk, so I threw them all in the car and took them to the reservoir sledding. That day, I left my phone in the car. We were gone for just a few hours. She called about 150 times. I didn't have the phone. When I got back to the house,
Quiet, ma'am.
on the way back, I dropped him off at his grandmother's house. And I went home to my house where I found 9 broken windows. Also, her sunglasses in my driveway. I called the police. There were threatening text messages as well. That's also in the police report.
Okay, would you like to see the police report?
Yeah.
Okay. And the pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, did you threaten to break the windows out?
No, I did not.
Okay, and ma'am, you say you had a text message?
Yes, there's also a voicemail.
Let's go to that.
Sunday, December 30th at 1:55 p.m. from
Courtney, tell that to answer the phone. I'm going to your house on my flat tires. I'm smashing your windows out, and I'll burn your house down.
And burn the house down.
All right. Sounds like, ma'am, that you're accusing her of cutting some tires, and this is your threat to retaliate. You tell me.
First of all, that doesn't even sound like my voice.
Yes, it does.
I did sound like I did leave a message on Danielle's voicemail, but I knew where they were. I knew they were sledding at the reservoir.
What was
Danielle
your
says her
message?
phone was in the car.
Did you threaten her on that
I talked to my
message?
husband. In the message that I left, yes, I
Yes.
did, but not to break out the windows.
What did you threaten to do?
I told her, if I have to come and find you, it ain't gonna be pretty. I said, I know you're sledding at the reservoir with my husband. This right here I believe it's the same copy that they have, but I also have a police report of a police officer that was sitting in my house because I had to report my tire slash, which I also have pictures of if you want to see the pictures of the tires.
So what are you saying? Hold on. What are you saying about the police report, you sitting there? What are you saying?
I was sitting in my kitchen while she claims that I broke her windows.
Okay, you knew the exact time that she broke the windows?
No, I just have the time period between the voicemail and the police report.
And what time period was that
home.
from?
The voicemail is at 1:55 p.m. and I called the police and I believe it's it's on the police report what time I had called the police.
Okay.
I was at my house. I couldn't leave. I couldn't go anywhere. I had flat tires.
Ma'am, talking to the police?
Yes.
How long?
He was here at 2:40, and he didn't leave until a good hour later. I don't know if the time that he left is on there.
So
but I also...
it could have happened between 1:55 and 2:40.
I have a witness that was at my house at 1 o'clock.
Okay, read it.
This witness says, I, Brett Byro, was called by Courtney Hescox on December 30th around 1 p.m. She was very upset, stating her husband, Shane Hescox, and Danielle Smith had slashed her tires. I went right over to her residence. While I was there trying to get the spare tire off, which was rusted underneath, I witnessed several phone calls back and forth between Courtney and Danielle. I knew it was Danielle because I heard Courtney yell, Danielle, stop hanging up. I just want to speak with Shane. I was there for a good hour trying to get the spare tire off. Courtney was crying and saying that she had no way to get around. Courtney did not leave her home and was there the entire time, and I was leaving as a city cop was arriving to speak with her about the tire.
All right.
But
so let me just ask you about the voicemail. You deny that was you?
I did not leave.
The voicemail I just heard, you said that wasn't you?
No, that was not me.
All right.
I'm not going to say I didn't leave a nasty voicemail.
No, I'm referring to the one I just heard.
Yeah, no.
That wasn't you?
No.
All right. I don't believe you. I believe it was.
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You got your husband under control now?
He's in jail.
Oh, okay. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you. You didn't do anything wrong. And you need to grow up, little girl, and take responsibility for your actions.
And Danielle needs to stop stalking my husband.
And stay away from my grandkids, my property, and my children.
In what world was he ever gonna leave me for that? Just remember that. Stay away from my husband.
Because she has class. You don't. You're white.
Class or rash, she's got it. I don't want anything to happen except for her to stop stalking my husband.
He's in jail.
And you have a restraining order against him.
Keep him away from my family. Please.
You're gonna believe whatever you want to believe because she's
Well, you're a liar, and you just told a lot of lies about me, little girl, that I don't know where you got them from.
You know, I tried to be a good friend. I tried to do what I thought was right. Obviously,
She tried to
it was
sleep
not
with my
right.
husband. That's a good friend.
Please, who wouldn't want
Tattoos
him?
on the neck saying "blow up the world." You know, I don't need
not
that.
her type. Not her type.